it's like front heavy, so I can't get it to stay. My makeshift tripods are like not at the correct angle. Like this is like a good spot. Too bad there's nothing to hold it there. Hey guys, it's Kat, and today I'm going to be talking about basically the reality of my situation. This is a fake nose piercing in place of, it's like right on the hole that I had for when I did have a nose piercing. I'm kind of just testing it out to see if I can handle getting it again. Piercings are just really annoying to me. Like them getting caught on stuff and like it causing pain. Like I can get a tattoo and then once it heals, it's done. There's no more pain. There's nothing associated with it. It's just like this cool piece that's on me forever. That's beside the point. I am currently I'm finishing up the prereqs for the nursing program because the nursing program I'm doing, you can do the prereqs with it, some of them, but it's just, it makes it harder. It's basically like a year of prereqs and then 2 years of nursing school by itself, and it's more doing part-time. Like the first 2 semesters are part-time and then the second 2 are like 3/4 time, and there's no such thing as like full-time, whereas a lot of nursing programs are 2 year in and out for RN, and I didn't do one of those because there's not one close enough, and also I wanted to take it a little bit slower. I will be starting the nursing program hopefully spring semester. Therefore, as long as I can do it, I will graduate and be an RN by about the end of 2022 is like the semester I would graduate. I don't know how quickly you become an RN after that. One thing, if you don't know about me, I've talked about mental health a little bit. I have gotten through postpartum depression and my severe postpartum anxiety. I do have anxiety. I kind of always have. It's nothing too crazy and nothing I feel like I really need to be medicated for. It's just kind of trying to keep myself in check and learn how to like cope with stuff and calm down. I do get some anxiety attacks, but nothing like crazy bad. It's nothing severe at all. I've seen people have like really bad anxiety. I get a little bit of social anxiety, but nothing like, again, nothing severe. Nothing's very severe at all. But I also recently, within the past like 6 months or whatever, got diagnosed with having ADHD/ADD. I had known I had some sort of learning issue kind of all my life, but couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. I also used to have a little bit of social issues, but I was an only child, still am. So I didn't know if that like had anything to do with it. I also just thought it was like other factors that were causing these issues, whether it was just depression and making me tired, making it hard to focus, because a lot of mental illnesses can go hand in hand. And then when I started college, I realized I actually kind of do have a little bit of an issue. But it's nothing super severe like some people have it. All of it's very like minor controllable things. I have been on medication for everything. I have tried 2 different medications for my ADHD and I might try another, trying to manage again without being on medication. It's going okay. It's just, it takes a lot more like self-control and determination, especially right now, everything with what's going on, the pandemic basically. I don't know if I can even say that on here without it like taking my video down or whatever, but all of that happening, everything being online, it makes it very difficult to like focus even more so. Sometimes it helps because I can control the silence, like the noise level. Other times it makes it much more difficult because I have to really be determined and like focus. Sometimes like it's just not entirely possible. In general, online schooling can take a lot more motivation and determination to get it done. But I am a very like hardworking human, I would say. I get very determined to get things done. Like I got my statistic class done. I just had the final exam in like a week. I started late. So there's a 16-week and a 12-week class. I was the 12-week class, so I already started 4 weeks in. So I started like mid-September, I want to say, and I finished it within like about 6 weeks. Would have been 6 weeks exactly had I not gotten really sick. And luckily I had the benefit of being able to take an extra week because last week I had strep and I now have to see an ear, nose, throat specialist because they wanted me to get my tonsils removed like over a year ago because I keep having tonsil issues. I keep getting strep, tonsillitis. There's another one. I don't know, but there's another throat thing that I had an issue with. This time strep was really bad. Like I was down for the count for 2 days and rarely am I completely down like sick. And then a week before that I had like I had vertigo or something that they had to put me on like Antivert because it was so bad I couldn't even like do this without like throwing up, which sorry for the TMI, is super gross. This is kind of like an overall health update and the like reality of my situation. I have quite a few like minor health issues. Like I'm doing physical therapy for my back to build the strength up. I had thought my back had like an issue like from being pregnant, but it turns out I think my anatomy has always been where I had like lordosis. I am probably butchering that. I'm gonna hate myself when I'm like in nursing school and I'm like, well, you probably should have known what that's called. And, you know, a normal spine has like a little bit of an S curve. Mine's like an exaggerated lower curve. Greater anterior curve? I don't know. Either way, it puts a lot of pressure on my back and like the muscles around my lower back and like glutes area. My core muscles and like other muscles aren't like activating as well, so I have to build those back up and like teach them, like retrain them to activate to be able to help with my posture and just like being able to hold myself up well enough, and it usually just causes a lot of issues when I'm doing something for an extended period of time, sitting, standing, anything. It just hurts. Or if I do a lot of bending, lifting, or anything like that, it gets pretty uncomfortable, especially again for an extended period of time. So if I work a 12 or 16-hour shift type of thing, it still can happen with shorter shifts. It's just not as likely. It just depends on what I'm doing and how much I'm like really like being aware to like activate those muscles, because obviously I can voluntarily do it, but that's the point. You got to get yourself to like train yourself to do it like automatically. So yeah, that's what's happening with physical therapy, and I am trying to get back into actual like counseling therapy to try to figure out. I was kind of freaking out because my ADHD meds were causing my anxiety to flare up. They kind of go hand in hand, and I also have OCD, which my meds were causing that to flare up too, which interacted with my anxiety, so I would feel like I needed to get something else done, or else like I'd start freaking out and panicking if I wasn't getting that thing done, even though the whole point is to be able to focus on school. Or just like focusing in general. Like I used to have issues at work, and especially when I'm tired. Like normal people, when you're tired you can't focus as well, but when you have like ADHD, like that's all heightened. Like people don't realize I have to get enough sleep or I literally cannot focus, whereas some people can be like, oh, drink a Monster or coffee or whatever and I'm good to go, even if their body doesn't feel like it, like their brain can, and that's just not how it works for me. And I actually cannot drink energy drinks. It makes me like sick. I don't know why. I don't know what happens. My body's just very sensitive. Like even if I eat too much sugar, like, and it can be what's considered too much to me is very minimal compared to like somebody else. Also, I'm 5'1", so there's not a whole lot of room. So I guess, you know, that could be a part of it. Plus my torso is like a third. Like my legs are majority of my length of being 5'1". Someone that's 6 foot could have the same length legs as me. I just have a very short torso. But what I was saying with the stats class is that I am getting it done in like half the amount of time. I have, I think, the highest grade in it, like out of all the classes, and I'm the furthest ahead, including in front of the 16-week class. But this course is also set up to be a 6-week class, a very intense 6-week class. It's just they spread it out at the school I go to. At the other school that this same professor teaches this class, it's a 6-week class. If that says anything about my ability to like work hard, it's just if I prioritize something to work hard for it. And like obviously, you know, we all have off days and times that we struggle, but that's just to kind of preface my general scenario. So obviously, I've been pretty prominent about the fact that I'm a teen mom. Actually, I'm 20 now, so no longer a teen. I can't even like be like, I'm a teen mom. I guess I still am a teen mom. I had her as a teen, but I'm now 20. It's not really that big of a deal. So I wanted to compare the difference between my scenario and other scenarios to give some perspective. I am a co-parenting young parent who's also going to school and working. So I did move back home, which I don't know if I made a video on, but I can make a video on like why I moved back home to be able to focus like on school. And I'm co-parenting with my daughter's dad, and she also goes to daycare. The daycare we also get help for. I'm gonna be very transparent about this stuff because I don't think it like is helpful to anybody if I'm not, due to the fact that we have very limited income, and I am trying to like better, I don't know how they factor all that, but I am like not just like living off the government. To put something into perspective, I would be living richer if I just lived off the government's help instead of continuing on to better my education. I'm having to struggle more doing that, and it would be easier to just live off the government. I have the ability to, and not everybody does, so I'm actually trying to be like a productive, like efficient human and do something with myself instead of just living off the government, which is kind of a whole different video, and I don't want to like bash on anybody. I mean, it is frustrating to me when people are like, oh, I don't see how you do what you do, and they have more help than me. We don't have a lot of help. It is me and my daughter's dad. Very rarely can our families help. So he doesn't have a lot of people. I really just have my mom and dad and like his like girlfriend and her kids. Like, you know, them working together or whatever. My mom is trying to help. She runs our family business. She is helping my grandparents who both have cancer. My grandma got done with radiation. Now my grandpa's doing chemo. They kind of just got hit, like, that was a really crappy thing. I haven't talked about that much either. I have not talked about a lot of things on social media just because I don't have a lot of time. And I'm sorry if the light is going down. The sun is setting and I wanted to use natural light as much as I could. So she can't really help much with my daughter, and she also was trying to like past 6 months get the house together to where this is a 2-bedroom house. It's more of the layout of the house. There's plenty of space in the house. It's the layout of the house that makes it very, very difficult to be able to, you know, she obviously wants her home to look nice, so to be efficient and looking nice, and not like taking that her home aspect away from it, feeling like burdening her, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. It's like not a very good way to explain it, but like it's an OCD thing, like making it outside of her comfort, I guess. We're trying to avoid doing that. And also I have to have quiet focus. So I have to have a space that is away from everybody else and I can do my schoolwork. And then my daughter needs her own room to not like be woken up. Although right now she sleeps with me. When she sleeps on her own, she has to have her own room. And also by like government regulations, after like 1, I think they have to have their own like room. I don't know exactly what it is. Her own room away from the parents at least. Either way, it's a whole thing. And yes, it's not that serious, but it was just they had to get the house where it could be like the most beneficial for all of us. So she couldn't really help until recently, and even that she works and she has to help with my grandparents, and you know, she wants to live her life. It's not her like responsibility to take care of her, so she could not be just like a sitter. And quite frankly, after taking care of herself, working, and then when she needs to help my grandparents or me with stuff, because I still need help with stuff myself, irrelevant to being a mom, you know, she doesn't have much time left, if any. My dad works like a lot, and he works a labor job, so he's very tired when he gets home. He works long hours and doesn't get home till late, so by the time he's home, there's just not a lot of help he can do. Plus he then has to turn around and get back up early. Lee doesn't have a lot of family. Lee is her dad, my daughter's dad, and he doesn't have a lot of family close that can help anyways. And then the next thing is Mari's allergic to cats and has a breathing issue, so she can't be around smoke. And although it's good to not be around smoke anyways, not being around smoke in a small town is very difficult because almost everybody smokes. Trying to regulate that's very hard, and obviously it's for her best health anyways. Regardless, it just limits our help, and same with she's allergic to cats, and in general, she can't just be watched and played with. She has to actually have lotion reapplied often. She has to be very like redirected with her scratching. She's not a very easy kid, and you have to be careful not to upset her because then it will cause a whole chain reaction of scratching and stuff. So she can't just be watched. Not that she has this ton of medical issues that she has to like do elaborate things for, but that would almost be easier because I can't explain to someone how to redirect her. You either have to know it or don't. Like I can give examples, but every scenario has to be navigated differently. So like you also can't give her what she wants all the time because then that causes a chain reaction of when she gets home she expects that, and she can't just eat cookies all the time for her like long-term health in general. Okay, sorry, my memory card was full and I needed to delete some stuff. Basically, there's just a lot of things that goes into taking care of her that just makes it a little bit more difficult. So it's not just even the normal situation of like that we're in, it's even more elaborate than that and complicated, to say the least. So not only do we have a small circle, she's not just an easy like take care of kid, or like kid to take care of, and it's not that she's difficult herself. It's not her fault that she has health issues. It's that the actual care is like more difficult than like the average kid, and it could be much worse, and I'm so thankful that it's not. I'm just giving some insight on the situation. On top of it, there's the obvious struggles of co-parenting. So there is pros and cons to co-parenting versus the one parent not being in the picture, because if one parent has all control, it almost in some situations will kind of like force the outside family to help more and other people to help more, and it also forces you to be like more comfortable with certain things, like finding more people and reaching out. Like it was really hard to even go like have her go to daycare because I was very nervous about like her like care there and how kind of difficult she is, because she's a really good kid. She's super smart. She's, you know, she has her own set of issues with like being a normal toddler, like attitude and trying to like understand and, you know, stuff that's not like issues, but you know, like normal toddler things. Like I said, her care is a little more challenging than just watching her and teaching her stuff. It's very specific. With being a parent that the other parent's not involved, me and him also have to work together on schedules, which is beneficial because then I have extra help. But also we have to, there's a lot of like stress and guilt and fights that can also come from that, because obviously him and I did not get along to begin with very well. We obviously did not work out in a relationship. Those things still, those communication issues still come into co-parenting issues, because it's still a problem. The problem didn't go away from us not being together. It just was limited to just parenting relevant, because what he does with his life and what I do with my life, as long as it doesn't affecting Mari in a negative way, is neither of the other's business, which I can get into in an advice video on co-parenting, because I have learned a lot in the past year, because the last years when I was like really on my own with it, it's been more parenting, because when it's a baby, it's just like routine taking care of them. Now it's getting into actual parenting stuff where you have to come up with like how you parent basically, and trying to talk about all of that. And again, we had communication issues before, so that still goes into stuff. Mari also has quite a few doctor's appointments and stuff like that, and that all takes time, and he has a little bit more of a flexible schedule, and he lives at home as well, so he can do more with her, and I'm thankful for that. I'm so thankful, because if it wasn't for him and I co-parenting, I would not be able to go to school. I would be forced to be stuck in this situation and kind of have to live paycheck to paycheck until she was old enough for me to like have more options with care. She's just at a challenging age, because it's not just routine stuff, but it's also not like she's not that self-sufficient. So it's at a very weird point. I think I still would have done all that I am doing. It's just that I would have done it at a different pace and different timing. Or maybe I would have done something completely different, who knows. But either way, I will say that yes, having him around and helping and like that is, I'm very blessed. And I didn't realize that till I was thinking about how to do it without him, because we were having a lot of issues, and you know that thought crosses your head. And also I've always wanted to move away from the area, and unfortunately it would be a battle of who she gets to live with, who's the better home. Realizing how much we have to work together to provide the best life for her is, I'm so sorry to those that don't have that, because you know, there's downfalls to it, but I think overall it's probably better that this is the situation than if it wasn't for him being involved, and like both of us being involved. I'm not gonna just say him. She's blessed with me. The next thing is here's the main difference between if you have somebody in home that can help, that like lives with you, or like will stay with you or whatever. If I am taking too long to study, this is another problem we have with her. This is frustrating to talk about for me. So if I'm like taking too long to school or something, or I need him to take it for extra time, that's fine, whatever. It's just very hard to time manage with it, and she will throw fits sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the times when I go to get her. Like yesterday, I made sure I could get my schoolwork done early. Like I literally took an exam at like 2 in the morning, so that way I could make sure I could spend time with her, and then she didn't want to spend time with me. She screamed for her dad. She wouldn't like even go to me. It was like a long time. It took majority of the time to just calm her down. And then we got to spend some time, but then she was hyped up and wanted to spend time with me, and it was already time for bed. So it's really hard to navigate because I don't get to spend a lot of efficient time with her because she just doesn't cooperate for it. She's a toddler and doesn't understand. I don't really know what's happening in her little brain that's like, I'm sure she's feeling a lot of emotions and confused and everything. And I'm not blaming her for that, but it is very frustrating to me when she doesn't want me, and it's not because either one of us are better parents or not. I mean, she was literally like that from the time she was born. What a lot of people think it is I'm very uptight and stressed out, and obviously kids can sense that. So yeah, her dad's gonna be her comfort zone when he is not. And with good reason am I versus him not being, but we're not gonna start like a bash train on him. We just live very different lives, and I'm very ambitious. I'm going to be a little more uptight and stressed out than somebody that is not. And I think that is part of it. I don't know what the other part of it is. I don't know if it's that she doesn't see him enough. I don't know if it's that we do have a general schedule, so it's not that we don't have a set schedule. So I don't really know. I don't get it. I think it's just part of it is like she's not getting what she wants, whether that be me or him, and sometimes she wants me when she goes to him, and it's just very all over the place. And you know, obviously that sucks for me if I plan time to spend with her and then she doesn't want to. And then that whole time is just spent being stressed out because she's crying the whole time wanting her dad. And not to mention, it hurts my feelings. Like, and you can't not take that personally. You can try, but like that still like hurts, you know? And it's, again, not getting to spend efficient time with her. So it's like, okay, awesome. I'm so glad that you just spent that time crying that you could have been spending with me. On top of that, I'm getting nothing done in that time. So not only is it not efficient time spent with her, I have to try to keep redirecting her, calming her down. And so sometimes I have to even evaluate if I want, like, when to take her and navigate that. Because if I'm already stressed out and then she's gonna act like that, that's gonna put me, like, over the edge with it. So it's like, okay, well then I need to definitely think, okay, let me take some time for myself to calm down from stressing about school and everything before I get her. And sometimes I don't get that opportunity because that's called being a parent. But if I do, I take it. It sucks because that is a thing almost every time when she goes from him to me. It's hard. I thought it would help with me living back at home, but it doesn't. I don't know exactly what happens when I, like, there that we aren't doing. I know here it's relatively structured and we cannot like super spoil her or baby her. Obviously, every kid deserves a little bit of that. And there's a fine line between giving your kid lots of love and attention that they need and deserve versus like literally giving them everything they want to the point where it's an unhealthy amount. And that's where I question where the line is drawn, but I don't know what happens in the other household, why she acts that way. It's not because she gets treated poorly at either. And I don't entirely know because I'm not there at the other household to know like what happens when I'm not around. I will say that a lot of the times, they probably have a little more freedom to pay attention to her with a lot less to do in comparison to me and my mom both being very ambitious and having a lot to do. And it's not that we don't prioritize her. Certain things should be prioritized as well, like general, like I don't know, it's too hard to try to explain without like it coming off as like rude or bashing. It's just people have different lifestyles and different lifestyle standards. Ours tend to be quite a bit higher. Also keep in mind, a female dominant household versus a male dominant household. There's going to be quite a bit of differences there. And not to mention, like, simple things like taking a shower takes me a lot longer than it's going to take her dad, because I have to wash all this hair and I don't have to shave my legs. But things that like are general hygiene things that I should be allowed to do and it not be self-care, and literally just be like my general basic hygiene things that become self-care. That sucks. That's just the reality of being a mom versus his dad at that point. Apparently I still didn't believe enough because the number was full again. Basically, the point of all of it is that, you know, every situation is different and everybody's going through their different things, and I really just want my channel to be like a motivation to people that, like, no matter what situation you're in, you can come out of that even better than like you would have been like going in the first place. Like, I probably would have been in much more debt with the pathway I was going down, and ended up like having so many, like, I can't even like tell you what path I would have went down had I not gotten pregnant at 17 and ended up where I'm like headed right now. And obviously things can change and so much can happen. You can do it. You just have to figure out and be determined and figure out what you want to do, and then be determined and do it. So I'm trying to do a motivational speech and I'm just like bloop. I'm not trying to say like, oh, pity me or my life is so hard, because I don't think so. I'm very thankful that I have the life that I do, and that I do have the help and resources that I do. There are definitely situations that are worse off than me, but I'm also not trying to brag at the help that I have, because I definitely think that there are situations where like maybe a trusted family member could be doing the one that, like, being the babysitter, or like in the example of if you have a significant other or somebody in the household, that's what I was talking about, being in the household that can like watch them. So maybe I could spend like 5 minutes with her and then go back to studying, without it being in a whole elaborate thing of me going to get her or something, and like her screaming and fighting and it being a big old problem. Like, I can't just spend a few minutes here and there with her to have more efficient time in the long run with her, or even spending like a half an hour like taking a school like lunch break or something for somebody else to watch her, like while I'm doing that, and maybe be able to go see her or something like that. That would be the more ideal situation, even if that was just like on weekends, like that was a thing. But no, it's either I have her or he has her or somebody has her. There's no like working together to have shared time like that. Sometimes he'll bring her out to see me and she throws a fit about it, so it's kind of, or I'll like stop and see her if I'm getting off work but like going home to study after or something, or it's like his night with her. It can make it more difficult, and you have to really be adamant about time management, and you just have to try to make it work. It is what it is. Like, you just got to make the best of the situation that you're in. And I just wanted to give the reality of my situation, because I don't want social media to glamorize it, but I also don't want like anybody to think that like, or to pity me or anything. I just wanted to give the reality of it, the whole idea of my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. If you have any questions, you guys are always welcome to like message me on any social media. So anyone that watches these anyways, thanks for watching. Bye. I'll take my thumbnail photo with this. That worked really well.